Welcome back. Today we're talking about the Neko rig, and I'm going to show you a few products that will help preserve baits, help you catch more fish, and just show the fish something different. We'll do it right now. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the Neko rig, and I'm going to show you all these different products that I have in my boat, in my Neko box, that I really like, that help preserve baits. You know, there's some that keep the bait in place better. There's different weights. There's all these different things. I'm gonna just jump right into it and show you, because the Neko rig is such a great tool. It is perfect for the pre-spawn. I mean, you could use it all over throughout the year, but it is such a good way to catch fish. And it differs from a wacky rig. I mean, it's very similar, but obviously the Neko rig has a weight inside of it, so you can fish a lot deeper. It's great for plying those deep brush piles, you know, bridge pilings, deep docks. All these areas are perfect for a Neko rig. And with the weight, you can go as simple as you want. I mean, you can put an actual nail in there. I mean, it's a nail weighted bait, but you can put a nail in there, or you can kind of get crazy with these different weights. I really like these from VMC. There's a mushroom and then the regular nail. I like these because you can break them in half pretty easily and make them as small as you want. You know, it kind of reminds me of the old Lunker City ones that used to be like that, you know, that you can break them off. So really you can dial in the weight and the fall that you want from any bait that you're using. So that's a great tool, is these kind of weights. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. I like tungsten, but it's not required. These lead just do just fine. Now with these weights, one thing you can do, and I don't want to burn myself, but one thing I've done many times is you can actually heat these. If you get pliers, heat it with the lighter and stick it in, and that will actually stick to your bait. So that's one easy tip to keep the weight connected to that plastic. If you heat it up hot enough, stick it in, it's gonna melt to that plastic and it's gonna stay secured. So you're not gonna cast it out and that weight's gonna fly as much. It'll still happen after a while, but just heating it up with a lead and putting it in there is perfect way to save the weight and save yourself some hassle. Now, if you're using any Elastec bait, which by the way are really good because you don't need any sort of O-ring or anything like that, you can just stick it right in the middle. But Z-Man makes these specialized weights that have these little spikes on there. These are their shrooms weight, the Neko shrooms. It's got that little spike on there. It works with any plastic, but it is really good with Elastec. So you just jam it in that bait, you know, something like a Z-Man Fatties or one of those straight tail baits. This is a great way to get it in there because it's really hard to do with a standard nail weight. But they make these, they hold it really well in Elastec. So that's a way that you can still Neko rig with a Elastec bait from Z-Man or any other super plastic type bait. Now, if you're using a regular plastic, there's a lot of different tools out there. You can use a Neko hack like this from G-Crack. I've done a full video on this, so I won't talk too much about this, but it's basically a little spike that you stick in there, and it's got a little hole in the middle for your hook, and then you cut off that excess there. So it's a really good way because it has a tab on the bottom so it doesn't pull through. That's a great way to keep that bait secure. There's also like do-it-yourself type stuff like this surgical tubing. I have also done a video on this. You can get this little silicone tubing, cut it, you know, I didn't cut that one very straight, and then put it on the plastic and then hook right through it. Holds it very secure. It's a really good option for keeping that bait in place. I think it's a lot better than a O-ring, which does work, but something like this tubing, the silicone tubing is really smart. You can buy huge tubes of it from Amazon, cut off little chunks. It's a really smart idea. There's also all kinds of little gadgets like this. I can't remember who makes this, but it's a little spring. You just screw it into your bait, and then there's a little spot there where you put your hook through it, and then that is connected to your bait. So it's a really smart idea. I wish I remember who makes this. Really cool tool for keeping that hook in place and preserving your bait. If you want to add a little flash, this is something from Zappu. I know VMC makes one too, but you just use this in place of your weight. It is a weight actually, but it's got a skirt on the back of it. So it just kind of gives it a different look right there. And you slide that in there, and then you have the added attraction of a skirt as the bait's falling. So kind of a different look, but it does work. I've caught fish with it. Really cool idea to kind of show them something a little bit different. Speaking of showing something different, you know, I use a Senko like all of you. I mean, look, I buy them by the 100 pack. I mean, that's how much I use them. Really good. But there's a lot of other baits that are really good for fishing on a Neko rig. Of course, you got like the trick worm. Can't beat that, old favorite. It's really good for a Neko. Got the Maxcent General, and then one bait that a lot of people aren't talking about, but people are using is the Maxcent Hitworm, the Magnum Hitworm. It is a great bait for a Neko rig. Great profile, bigger size, You know, it's like a 7-inch. It's perfect for a Neko. My tail's kind of jacked up there. I need to straighten that one out. Let's see what these look like. But there you go. That is something completely different. A lot of people are using this, and it is a very popular bait, and it's got that max scent on it as well. Now with hooks, I've used a lot of different ones, like the Gamakatsu Stinger is really good, but I really like these from VMC, the red line. These are just a straight shank hook, and they're very sharp. They got that slick coating on there. And then something that's really simple is this little keeper that they come with. It tells you the size of the hook right there. So you can keep them on this. They're nice and secure. They're not banging around your box. And it says it right there what size it is. So really smart idea, and these things are very, very sharp. But a straight shank is really good for a Neko rig, hooks them really well, pins them, and no matter what brand you like, definitely try that straight shank. It really hooks them well. Like I said, these are all my Neko tools that I have. There's all these little gadgets. I'm really a sucker for terminal tackle. I mean, I love it. This box keeps getting more and more full every time, you know, but right now is the time that I bust it out and I'm using it a lot, going through all these different pieces of terminal tackle. Just wanted to share with you some of the stuff that I'm using, some cool ideas. And like I do with all my videos, I always like to know what you think of different products out there. Is there another tool that you use for Neko rigging that I'm missing out on that I don't know about? Let me know. I'd love to hear that feedback. Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.